Hello and welcome, I'm Stefan, this is Real Fitness Coaching, and in today's video we're going through a total body mobility workout routine. Now this is going to be great for you if you have been working out recently and you're feeling that delayed onset muscle soreness, that DOMS, any kind of stiffness through the body from working out. If you've been sat at the desk for long periods of time, maybe you want to take a break halfway through the day, get yourself feeling nice and limber and mobile, or if you've got a workout coming up and you want to feel nice and ready and prepped for it, enhance your movement quality. This is going to be great for anyone who wants to feel more energized, limber, loose, and just feel great and ready for the day. So all you're going to need is some space and a mat. I would highly recommend getting a mat. You can see the one I've got here, and I'll put a link in the description for where you can get these. This is from Jordan. I highly recommend a nice, thick, durable mat underneath for the knees specifically, but any kind of workouts from home, you want to have the kit, and I cannot recommend these highly enough. So the workout itself today, we're going to go 25 minutes and we'll be done and dusted. It's going to be whole body. We're going to start off getting some movement in the body first, getting some warmth. It's going to be a bit of core work as well. And then we're going to go into some dynamic and then some more static stretches. So starting off now, 25 minutes we'll get done and dusted. Hands on hips, we're going to go into the hip circle. So I like this movement, as you may know from watching the videos that I do. The hips, that linchpin, that bridge between the lower body and the upper body, a really key area to get nice and limber and mobile. Switch on the core and also just get a feel for what's going on in the body. So when I used to not do these movements so much, and I started doing them, particularly this one, I could go out and I could feel a clicking, a popping, catching kind of sensation in the hips. If you're feeling that, then there's definitely going to be some tightness through the hips, the glutes, and the IT band. And that may mean you want to go and have a look at some foam rolling techniques. I'm going to be putting up some more videos on foam rolling soon, so watch out for those. But yes, moving into the hips with this movement here is going to get you feeling nice and loose through the whole body. Back in the other direction now. And the glutes in particular, the groin, the adductors as well, a key area to make sure you've got a nice bit of freedom of movement. Don't force the body into any positions that it's not happy with. You're looking to enhance movement over the course of this workout, this routine. So not forcing the body into anything it doesn't want to do, but rather just coaxing it, enhancing it, guiding it to get more movement from the body. From here, we're going to go with a horizontal rotation. So we're nice and tall, okay, decompressing the spine. I'm coming right up onto the ball of the toe on that back foot. So I can turn through. And if you feel dizzy at all, just don't turn the head too much. But if you feel okay to do so, you can look behind you as the arms move to get that rotation. You can draw the core and the navel in gently to get a feel for that connection through the middle of the body. So again, we've got the hips, the ankles, the knees, that bridge between what the upper body is doing and the lower body. All right, from here, we're going to go with a wide stance. We're going to bring the hands across, one across to touch the opposite toes. And we're going to be side lunging, so a stretch on that straight leg adductor, the inner thigh. And we're going to twist to get the body moving, rotating through the midsection, through the rib cage. And the arms moving around as well. As one comes behind the body, bringing that dexterity between the shoulder blade and the rib cage as we move the arm, getting some articulation in the upper body, that shoulder girdle, as we go. All right. I'm going to come back into the center with the feet now, not too wide, not too narrow. Hands behind the head. We're going to keep those knees wide as we go down into a squat. We call this a prisoner squat because of the hand position. But really, the focus is just keeping the body as upright as you can, those elbows as wide as you can, and those knees as wide as you can. Weight into the heels. Now, if you can keep the eyes looking to the horizon, you're doing well. If there's a lot of tightness, you might find you end up dipping down with the eyes looking to the floor. So there's a few things we'll do over this workout routine to help open everything up. But for now, just keep those elbows wide, those knees wide, and the chest up. Breathing in. On the way down, we'll go for one more. Out on the way up. Whew, you can feel those muscles in the upper back working. Back to our wide stance. Hands reaching out from side to side. Palms turned up. All right, so not uncommon to hear some clicks and some pops and some movements. There's my ankle there, mobilizing as I move across into this side lunge. So again, getting the hips, getting the knees, the ankles, and by now a few reps in you can feel those shoulders working a little bit as well. Turning the palm up opens you up through the chest and shoulders, gets external rotation in the shoulders and the arms, because we're often rounded, internally rotated, and gives them the muscles a bit of work to do as well. All right, perfect. From here, I'm going to go with my feet together, step forward with one foot, and then bring my hands down, and then back up. Switch, step, bend the rear knee, down, and up. We're going to repeat this movement a few times over. This is going to bring in a stretch into the hamstrings. We're not holding that position, but rather keeping it nice and dynamic. Getting that stretch right up to the hips, the sit bone where the hamstrings attach. And this sort of wave type pattern, coming down and up, really encouraging a little bit more movement with each repetition. Dynamic rather than static stretches to begin. You want to make sure if you're doing static stretches that the body has already got some warmth in it. You've melted that toffee a little bit and everything's a bit more pliable and cooperative. Alright, let's go for one more on each side. Step, stretch. I'm tilting the tailbone back and up to get that stretch in. I'm going to turn now and I'm going to step out into a squat, okay? Back to the center. So, call this the predator for obvious reasons, but really again I'm just stepping out, getting the hips, mobilizing. One side is dynamic, the other side is static, and opening up to get that stretch through the chest. Again, as we squat down, opening up through the chest, helps keep us nice and tall, and it encourages more mobility, the need for more mobility through the hips. Okay, one more. All right, I'm going to switch it to the other side. So just step out into that rotation and get a good contact with the floor. Breathing in. Generally breathing in as you're opening up the chest is a good idea. Through some of these movements, you'll see that theme come up again and again. Nice and tall. Exhaling. All right, let's go for one more. Step and out we go. Fantastic. All right, from here I'm going to go down, up and over. This is our rainbow squat. Okay, again the name for the movement of the arms, up and over. And you can do this one without too much movement through the body, but I want to get as much dexterity through the rib cage, through the hips as I can. You can see the difference here. Imagine hula hooping, that movement through the hips that you need to drive that hula hoop round. Bring a bit of that into this movement. Reaching high and down. And again, we're getting warmth into the body. And I'm touching the outside of the ankle as far around to my heel as I can to get more movement through the midsection and even down the side of the body as I'm stretching. Good. One more. Up and over. All right, very good. Sideways on, space behind you. I'm going to step back, down to that knee. This is where that comfortable pad underneath the knees comes in, reaching back, stepping up, step back, heel, up, toes down, knee to the ground, and then reach those hands up and behind. This is going to get a stretch right the way through the hip flexor and the quadriceps. As we bring the hands back, imagine the limbs of a bow, like a bow and arrow, Keeping that core active to keep the back safe and happy. And just only going as far as the back is happy. Arms reaching, some stretching through that line. Up, step back. And you're probably getting a bit of a glow going at this point. That's a good thing. Again, melting that toffee, balance, control, down. And let's go one more on this side. Down, reaching up and back. All right, stepping up and over. Whew. All right, feet apart, a bit wider than hip width. Feet to the side, rear hand up, going down into my windmill. Hand against the leg for balance, and really open up by bringing that arm and that shoulder back and reaching high, keeping the arm completely vertical throughout. So you're getting an articulation through that top arm and reach high, coming back down. Now the arm against the leg can help. You can push the body around with that arm against the leg. And this is 3. We're going for 2 more. Going for 5 of these on each side. Breathing in, on the way down. Hopefully that hand's a little bit lower now than it was before. Let's go 1 more. Down. If you can, go to the floor. If not, just as low as you can. And reaching up. Perfect. Turning the feet. Again, the rear hand reaches up. Lead hand against the leg. And that's not uncommon to find one side not as free, not as mobile as the other. Hold that position. Breathe in. Looking up. Reaching high. 4 more. Down we go. You're getting that stretch on the inner thigh and the side of the body as well, on the opposite sides. Just create these nice long levers and these angles through the body. Straight legs if you can. Looking round. Up we go. Down for 2 more. Now some balance involved in this one, but if you can, keep your eyes looking to the ceiling. And 1 more, down we go. Arm against the leg for balance. Maybe pushing that palm toward the floor if we can. Again, don't force it, but just tease a little bit more range of movement as much as you're able to. All right, from here, space in front of you, we're going to go for walkouts now. Straight legs, wider is going to make it easier. So let's narrow that stance. Straight legs, fingertips to the palms. Going to drop the hips down, drop the knees down, chest up, shoulders back. And we're going to keep those toes up and on the mat because we push our hips up now. Reach back, touch the toes, drop down with the hips as well. And core engaged, lower back safe and happy, toes up, and up we go with the hips. And we're reaching for those toes. Down with the knees, down with the hips, core engaged, chest up, shoulders back, lot to remember. Just as low as is comfortable. And up with those hips, bracing with one arm, touch the toes, and down. Good. Stretching out the abdominals. And up. But again, careful not to compress that low back. Just as low as your body is happy with. Shoulders back, opening up through the chest and the shoulders. 1 more on this side. And down. The hands in position. Nice, stable, strong position. Up. And reach. Good. Okay, from here we're going to take a step forward on the left, and then my left hand is going to reach up. I'm feeling a stretch on that hamstring, on the lead leg, as well as the inner thigh, that hip adductor, and hand back to the floor. We're going to switch the feet, going forward on the right, then it's the right hand going up, the same side hand as the forward foot, reaching up high. A little bit like our windmill stretch, this T rotation from that groiner step. Hand back to the floor. Switch. Second time on this left side. Nice and tall. Straight line from hand to hand. And back to the floor. Switch. Good. And up. Really getting those angles, that straight line. And open up through the chest and shoulders. All right, we're going to switch again. This time, however, we're going a little bit quicker. And we're going to go with a T rotation to that needle thread for 3 times. Reaching back up. So I'm reaching my hand from overhead between that gap, between the shin and the forearm, underneath. Back up overhead again. One more. Under it goes, reaching across and underneath the body, increasing that hip stretch on the lead leg. Switch the hands, switch the feet. We're now onto the right foot forward, the right hand going up. Open up, nice and tall. And again for 3, underneath the body, reaching across. That's going to increase that stretch on that lead hip. Up again. 2 of 3. Tall as you can. Spread the fingers wide underneath. And reaching across. And up we go again. 3rd time. And once more underneath the body. Good. And bring the hand back. And then we're going to drop the knee down to the floor. So in this high kneeling position, core engaged. I'm going to sink my hips forwards. Notice I'm keeping my rear foot up on the toes. It's going to increase a little bit of that quad stretch. From here, make sure the lower back is happy. I'm not simply arching the back, but keeping that core engaged. Both hands are going to reach up. And as I reach back, I'm going into that hip flexor again. A little bit like we did earlier on. Holding this position a little bit more now though. I'm going to sit my hips back. Straight leg, that front leg, that lead leg, getting a hamstring stretch. Bring the hands to the mat. So you're nice and balanced. And just as low as you can, hinging, I'm tilting that tailbone back and up. Breathing slow, breathing calmly. Okay. Up again into that high kneeling position. Core engaged first, then forward with the hips. Always protect that low back by getting the core engaged. Reaching those hands high. That's going to increase that stretch through the hip flexor. It's also going to bring in that fascia in my upper body as well. Shoulders long through the neck and shoulders as I bring those hands back. Sitting those hips back again slowly. Down into that hinge. Proud posture as much as you can. And that straight leg, the hamstring. Feeling that stretch right up to that attachment at the sit bones. Breathe. That's 2, we're going for 3. So 1 more. Sitting up into that high kneeling position. Feet might be a bit further apart now, that's fine. Navel in and dropping those hips forwards and getting that hip stretch on the rear, front of the rear hip. Got it right this time. All right, arms up and dropping those hips just as far forward as you can within what's safe and what's comfortable. Arms up, arms back. Keep that core engaged, keep it connected. And okay, back with those hips, hinging, proud posture, dropping into that 3rd hamstring stretch. Breathe. All right. bouncing movements you can see at the end range, just encouraging as much of a stretch as I can. Okay, back up to high kneeling, and we'll switch the feet. This one's going to feel tighter now by comparison to how we left off with the other side. Core engaged first, nice and stable through that front foot, the rear foot up on the ball of the toe, and dropping the hips in, forwards, down, keeping that back safe at all times, arms up, and adding to that stretch. Again, you're thinking about, are there any big differences? Is this side tighter? Is it freer than the other side? We've all got those somewhat imbalances, some slight, some bigger than others, some more noticeable. Maybe it's the ankles, the hips, the back, shoulders. Hips back, and again hinge at the hips. Again, this first visit now on the hamstring here, it might feel tight by comparison to the last one you did on the previous side. Don't force it, we've got 2 more to go. That's why we do those multiple visits, those repetitions. Heel down, change that posture, proud posture, and you'll feel that stretch increase. And breathe. Up and over, high kneeling. Second time on this side, core strong, hips forwards, arms reaching up and back. And just as far as you can. Just as far as is comfortable. Reaching tall and sit those hips back. Second visit now to this hamstring. Again, tilting the tailbone, you're looking to go up and back, and you'll feel a change in that hamstring stretch. If you're rounded, you're not going to get that stretch to its fullest. Again, bobbing, bouncing gently at the end of the range. And up. For the third of 3, core strong, as always, and then drop into the stretch. Still working, keeping that balance under control. Reaching those hands high. And always keep that breathing going. Good stretch from that rear hip, front of the rear hip, sitting back. Last one of 3 in this hamstring stretch. Let's see just what we can do, how low we can get the body down. Within what's safe, within what's comfortable. And again, encouraging just as much as you can with those pulsing movements. And the breathing. All right. From here back up to high kneeling. Going to bring the knees back, hands on the floor, up onto the toes. What we're going to do here is drop one heel and then the other. We're getting into the calves now. Pedaling those heels. Up in that pike. That's the position of the hips with hands down, head down, hips up. And the further back, away from the hands, those feet are, the more an angle you're going to get onto those calves, those ankles. So go with a position that's right for you. Start off closer if you need to. You're going to get the heel down easier. But then moving those feet back. And dropping in one, then the other. Getting that calf stretch. All right, down to the knees. We'll come up to high kneeling position. I'm going to finish with a shoulder roll. Low to high, front to back. So we're opening up to finish, rather than closing up, getting a nice open chest and shoulder position. Flexion, extension through the spine as well. Nice deep breath to finish. Fantastic work, guys. I hope you're feeling nice and loose and limber and energized after that workout. I certainly am. I will see you for another fantastic workout very soon.